Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name's Ben. I'm one of the paramedics here at Air Ambulance Charity Kent, Surrey, Sussex.
And I'm Adam. I'm also one of the paramedics here at Air Ambulance Charity Kent, Surrey, Sussex.
Hopefully you're joining us today as part of the Girl Guides, Restart Our Heart, and the Girl Guides KSS mission badge that we've sort of collaborated with you to do. Today is part of many events we're doing throughout the week, aiming to teach as many people as possible the skills of how to save a life through CPR and use of a defibrillator. Before we go any further, we're just going to play a little video about essentially what we do as a charity and how we work on a day-to-day basis.
We're Air Ambulance Charity, Kent, Surrey, Sussex, your local air ambulance charity. We hope you never need us, but every year lots of people in our local area do. Serious emergencies can happen to anyone, anywhere. On the road, on the beach, even at your school. When the phone rings, we can get to anyone in under 30 minutes. We have 3 helicopters and 4 cars, all fitted with life-saving equipment and medicine to help save lives. We have 2 medical teams deployed at any one time. We can get to you fast. We bring expert doctors and paramedics on board, and we carry life-saving equipment straight to the scene. Our helicopters are like flying emergency rooms, just like you might see in a hospital. We have lots of advanced equipment, and our doctors and paramedics work very closely with land ambulances to make a bigger team of people helping to treat the patient. Each helicopter has a life-saving crew made up of 2 pilots, 1 paramedic and 1 doctor. When someone calls 999, we have a team of people who look at these calls called dispatchers, and they will decide if the air ambulance charity is needed. We only get called out to very serious emergencies. Our doctors are highly trained in giving emergency medicine and anaesthesia, and they can make a diagnosis to decide what's best when they're with the patient. Our paramedics are highly skilled and have at least 3 years' experience working in the ambulance service before they can work with us. Our pilots make sure we arrive at the scene as quickly and as safely as possible. They support the team and are very skilled in landing the helicopter in all areas.
Lovely, everyone. Welcome back. So hopefully that's just a bit of an introduction to us as your local air ambulance charity. So as we said, today is National Restart Our Heart Day. This is a day that happens on the 16th of October every single year. And the goal of today is essentially to try and improve rates of bystander CPR and defibrillation for people who have a cardiac arrest outside of hospital. Now you can see we've got our teddies around us. This is a session, we've aimed it for sort of primary school children, so kind of key stage 1, key stage 2. But ultimately, if you're a little bit older, that's absolutely fine. But you'll see us using teddies and stuff. So that is why, just given how we've pitched it. Hopefully, some of you have teddies with you. We can see 1 or 2 of you on the screen. But if you're happy to turn your cameras on, it would be great to be able to see you. We love seeing everyone's teddies and just what's going on and just get a bit of interaction back and forth.
There we go.
Yeah, lovely. So essentially today, we've trained tens of thousands of people in these skills, and over the next 20 minutes or so we're going to teach you how to be lifesavers. I'm going to show you a number of skills, but ultimately we're going to show you how simple and easy it is to save someone's life. Okay, so Adam, should we just talk through what we're going to do over the next 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing we're going to show you is how to check for dangers and someone's level of responsiveness.
Brilliant. The next thing we're going to talk about or tell you how to do is how to call 999 and the system that we use to get some extra help when we need it.
Yeah, and then after that, you're going to meet some of our crew. So you're going to meet one of our dispatchers, Carol, who's going to talk you through tips and tricks for calling 999. And then you're going to speak to Suji, one of our pilots.
We're going to show you how to do CPR.
Perfect. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to deliver a shock to restart someone's heart with a defibrillator. And we're going to show you exactly how easy that is. Now, we've got a couple of people joining on the screen. So if you're ready, can you get your bear in front of you and can you wave them at the screen so we can see all these bears ready to help us save lives? Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
a couple
there
of
we go.
bears on screen, haven't we?
Woohoo.
They all look ready.
Awesome.
Well, before we go any further then, Adam, we're going to have to tell them the 3 rules of being a little lifesaver, aren't we?
That's right, yeah.
So rule number 1, tell us about rule number 1.
So rule number 1, the most important thing really, is always keep your eyes open for danger.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to be a rescuer, we want you to check it safe. Always keep your eyes peeled for dangers. Rule number 2, tell us about rule number 2.
So when we're out there saving lives, we can use our loud voices. You can shout as loud as you like, and we want to hear you guys and get you guys involved in doing that on the screen tonight.
Yeah, and we've had some schools today who have shouted so loud, we've actually seen the cameras shaking, haven't we?
That's right,
We've seen some really loud voices out there. And rule number 3, the best lifesavers, people like you and me, what do the best lifesavers do for rule number 3?
So they tell other people, they tell their friends, their family, their loved ones, all about what they've learned tonight, and we want to get that message out there, share that information so that more and more people know how to do this.
Yeah, definitely. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to play you a little video from one of our former patients called Paul, and he survived his cardiac arrest because of lifesavers, people like you.
Hi, my name's Paul Maycock. My wife had gone up to her mother's, and I decided that as it was a nice afternoon, I'd put my gear on and go out for a bike ride. I was on my way back when I had my cardiac arrest, came off the bike, hit my head on the road. I had a helmet on naturally, which obviously helped to save my life. I was fortunate enough to have people following me who recognised exactly what had happened and started to perform CPR on me.
So when the call came in, the initial information that we were given was this was a cyclist who had been found unconscious. Once we got to scene, we understood that Paul had a heartbeat back after being shocked with a defibrillator a number of times. We took Paul up the road to the helicopter, and then we flew him to London, which was the closest appropriate centre.
Paul is a clear example of all elements of the chain of survival in action. His recovery is testament to the bystander that stopped and performed CPR before the ambulance arrived, and then the great care that the ambulance service were able to deliver alongside the critical care paramedic. There's 4 steps to the chain of survival: early recognition, early CPR, early defibrillation, and post-resuscitation care. The first 3 of those 4 steps can be provided by you yourself, and therefore over the next 20 minutes, you're going to join us in learning how to provide these steps and this care. Lovely everyone, welcome back. We've just been having a little look at who's on there. We can see some of you, but please do comment in the chat on the platform that you're on, I guess, you know, who you are and where you're joining from. We can see 5th Bexhill Brownies have just been put up in front of me as joining,
Yeah.
and we've got a couple of children at the front. We're going to come to them in a second, aren't we, I think. We'll have a little look and check out their bears and stuff. Now, the very first thing we're going to talk about relates to rule number 1.
That's
remember?
right.
And what was rule number 1, Adam?
Danger.
Danger, yeah.
Checking for danger.
Now, remember, everyone needs to check for danger before they do anything. So with your group leaders or whoever's with you at home, I want you to think about some things that could be a danger. And if your group leader can they put them in the chat, and I'm going to have a little look and see what we can find. I mean, Adam, we're experts at checking for danger, aren't we?
Snakes?
That's a good suggestion, Adam. Snakes could be a danger when we're out saving lives. And that is one of the things that we need to keep an eye out for.
Snakes?
Yeah, snakes you mentioned. Now, some people are coming up with other good things. So some people have talked about cars, roads, busy roads. Yeah, definitely.
Snakes?
Yeah, snakes you've mentioned. Yeah, we've talked about
Snakes?
snakes. Yeah, snakes we've mentioned a couple of times now. But I think, you know, water, ice, busy roads. Someone's put broken glass. Iona's put broken glass.
Snakes?
Yeah, snakes you've mentioned. I will add it to the list, Adam. Now, the important thing when checking for dangers is that you always keep your eyes up and out. So it's really easy to get task fixated and not notice wider dangers.
Snakes.
Someone's put electric.
Snakes.
Yeah, electric's a really good point. Snakes, I've got it on the list.
Snakes.
I've got it on the list, Adam. I've mentioned snakes. We need to get on with the other things. There's more dangers than just snakes.
Okay.
Now, yeah, there's a couple on there. So I think when we were writing this, we talked about kind of 4 key dangers being chemicals, water, pets, so I guess you could have your snake danger, but there are more pets than just snakes. But I think the really important thing is, and actually Girl Guides are very good at this, around making sure it's safe before we go and do that. The Girl Guides do a lot of work around safety, and I think that's something that's really impressive for us as an air ambulance charity. Now, once we've checked it's safe to approach, the next thing that we need to do is check for a response, because this is part of our Dr. ABC. And I did see another brownie group. Let me shout this group before we move on. Second Bybrook brownies, awesome. We've got loads of brownies joining us. This is fantastic.
Welcome all of you.
Yeah, so we're going to talk you through what we call our Doctor's ABC. Okay, the D in Doctor starts for danger. And the next bit's response. We need to check for a response, because our person could just be asleep. Okay, and there's two ways to check for a response, isn't there, Adam?
There is. We use a system called shake and shout.
Yeah, perfect.
And it's really simple.
So we want to see you do that if you can on the screen. If you've got your teddies or whatever you've got in front of you, we want you to practice doing your shake and shout. And what you're going to do, you're going to gently get your teddies on the shoulder. You're going to shout, hello, can you hear me?
Hey,
and you're going to give them a gentle shake, okay? We want to see you all practice that now. So with your teddies in front of you, this is where you use your loud voice. We want you to all practice as loud as you can, shouting, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello?
And you're going to give your teddy a gentle shake. Awesome. I can see them doing it out there now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because there's little lifesavers. Your person might wake up at this point, and actually that's really good news. They've already done the work. But if your person doesn't wake up, you're going to need to get some extra help. Now, I can't hear all of you on the computer, but I can see some of you. And what I want you to do with your hands is show me on the screen the number that you would call to phone, or I nearly told you the answer, to phone for help. Okay, it's the same digit and you press it 3 times. I don't think it's 333. It's not 555. Iona's got it, I can see it at the top of my screen. 999. Yeah, definitely. And who have we got just below Iona? I can see Lily. Lily, I can see you doing 999 as well. And Lily looks like she's in outer space doing CPR actually.
Actually, that's very
cool.
cool.
I think it's just her background. She's not really in space. All right, let's just be clear there. So we call 999. Now we're going to hand you over to Carol, who's one of our dispatchers. She works in our ambulance control room, and you might even be able to hear her 999 calls in the background. She's going to ask you a couple of questions about what to do, and I want you to shout these out to your group leaders, and if you can we get them in the chat and we'll have a little look at them afterwards. So we're going to pass you over to Carol.
Hello, my name's Carol. I am a dispatcher for the Air Ambulance Kent, Surrey and Sussex. Today, as a little lifesaver, I'm going to tell you how you can call and stay calm in an emergency. So firstly, you need to speak clearly. If possible, call from a landline. If you don't know your address, who can you go to? So we're going to pause for 10 seconds. Okay, so you can either go to a neighbour, you can go to your teacher, or you can shout for help. So once you know your address, what are the first 2 questions the call taker will ask you? So they will ask, is the patient conscious and is the patient breathing? Okay, the call taker will then tell you how to do CPR and when to open the door. Once you've opened the door, you go straight back to the person. Afterwards, you don't stop the CPR until the ambulance crew arrive and take over from you. So also you need to think of the risks. Is there a second person available? Can they wave the ambulance crew down? So just a short recap. You will be asked, is the patient conscious and is the patient breathing? You need to know your address and who you can ask for help if you don't know your address. Open the door when you are told to. Have someone meet and wave down the ambulance crew. And if you can put away any family pets.
Lovely, welcome back everyone. We've got a couple of ones that have gone into the chat. So people have talked about obviously calling 999, but for people that can help. So we've got an adult, definitely, it needs to be a responsible adult if possible. Right. People have talked about a carer,
yeah,
really good. And actually people haven't mentioned carers today, have they?
No,
we've
first
not
time,
had that,
actually.
yeah. People have talked about neighbours, we've got neighbours on there, teachers, loads of really good suggestions. We need someone responsible to try and help us. Now, Carol gave us a couple of tips, didn't she, Adam? What's your kind of number one, or what's your big 3 tips for people as an experienced paramedic when they get a little bit scared,
yeah,
might have to make a 999 call? What are your tips to them?
Yeah, thanks. I think my top 3 tips would be, firstly, number 1, try and stay calm. It's really challenging, it's going to be hard work, the adrenaline's going to be running, but stay calm. Be confident. Yeah, you can do this, all right? You've done this training tonight, you're going out, and if you have to ever use this in practice, then just remember what we've been showing you today. And then lastly, be careful. Yeah, remember, checking for those dangers before you actually go rushing in to help somebody. So just make sure that it's safe for you and safe for the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess now our little lifesavers have called 999. There's a chance that Carol could be sending our helicopter to them to go get help, to deliver our doctors and paramedics as quickly as possible to provide our life-saving service. So I think we should hand them over to Suji, one of our pilots. Now, can you put your hands up on the camera? Put your hands up if you like airplanes or helicopters. Is there anyone out there who likes airplanes or helicopters?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a couple, haven't we? Well, you might even be one of our pilots. Maybe we've got a future pilot out here. That would be awesome. We're going to hand you over to Suji, and he's going to show you inside our aircraft and tell you about it.
Hello everyone, I'm Suji, I'm one of the pilots here at KSS, and I'm here to tell you a little bit of information about the helicopter that you can see behind me. It's an Augusta Western 169. It's a very fast, very sleek helicopter, and it allows us to get to everywhere that we cover in Kent, Surrey and Sussex within 30 minutes. We travel at about 170 miles per hour, which is very fast. It's a lot faster than your parents' car, and it allows us to get our doctor and our paramedic to our patient as fast as possible, which gives them the best chance in whatever situation that they have happened to get themselves into. So this is the inside of our aircraft. The Augusta Western 169 has a large cabin space which allows us to take both our doctor, paramedic, our patient who's critically injured, and potentially a parent with us to hospital. We have this very large stretcher that the patient will be arriving from the scene with our doctor and paramedic. They slide in over the top of here. They then get hooked up onto a ventilator and a monitor system, as you can see in the background. We then push this in, rotate it in, and slide the passenger into the centre of the aircraft with all the straps on. We get our doctor and our paramedic on board, and then we take off and take them to hospital as fast as we possibly can. As you can see, it may look relatively small from the outside, but it is one of the largest ones that is around in the air ambulance industry, and it works very well for us. It's a heavy helicopter, but we are able to still travel at that 170 miles an hour. It nearly weighs the same as a bus, so it's quite interesting going from point to point with such a large helicopter. When we are on a call, we use an alpha call sign instead of blue lights, because that gives us priority with air traffic control so that we can go from one place to another as fast as possible. That then allows us to get to the patient and deliver our crew to them as soon as we can. Once we finish that, we are able to potentially go on to a second job with the amount of fuel that we carry, up to 2 hours worth of fuel. So once we've done that, and then we have to go back to base and then refuel, and then hopefully wait for another task to go and help somebody else.
All right, welcome back everyone. So I think when we were looking, we thought the most excited person who might be a pilot was, I don't know if it is you, but Elia Grace, or certainly you're on their account. We saw you jumping up.
Give us another wave.
So Elia Grace, or if that's your mummy or daddy's account, or whoever else, we saw you jump in to be a pilot, and we would love to have you come fly with us one day. That would be really cool. So should we do a little recap of what we've talked about so far?
Good idea.
So the first thing we did was we did what is essentially rule number 1. We checked for danger, didn't we? Then we checked for a response, and we even used rule number 2 there. We used our really loud voices. After that, we spoke to Carol, one of our dispatchers, and she gave you tips and tricks for calling 999. And then finally, we've just spoken to Suji, who's one of our pilots, and he showed you all about our helicopter and how his skills allow us to get to patients really fast. But this is the important bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is why we've invited you today. This is where we need your help, okay? Hopefully you've all got your teddies with you, because this is where we're going to start to do some practice. Adam, can you remember the 2 questions Carol told us about?
Yeah. Question 1. Question 1 was, is the person awake? And then question 2, are they breathing?
Exactly. So those were the first 2 questions that call handler will ask you when you call 999. And we've already showed you how to tell if someone's awake. Remember, we just did our shake and shout.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
But how do we tell if someone's breathing? We need to do a couple of things, don't we?
Yeah.
Remember our Dr. ABC? We've done the danger response. The next thing's airway.
Open the airway.
We need to tilt their head back. So practice that with your bear. We're just going to tilt their head back because that will open the airway. And then for the B, we need to check their breathing.
Yeah.
Now we need to check if they're breathing normally.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what normal breathing is?
Well, yeah, I do. But I guess what's not normal is if someone's not breathing.
No.
So when I listen and I look and I can't see that they're breathing at all, that's not normal. Likewise, somebody that's taking really long pauses between their breaths, or someone that's snoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, put your hands up if your mummies and daddies, brothers, sisters, adults at home snore, because we definitely all know what snoring's like.
Yeah,
I've got to put my hand up
There's a couple
there.
of hands there.
Yeah, we've got some snorers out there. And lovely. What's the last one, Adam?
And yeah, the last one is if it just looks abnormal. It looks like a fish out of water. That kind of breathing, which you may see.
Yeah, and we call that something very special, don't we?
Yeah, it's called agonal breathing.
Yeah. So the key thing that we've talked about is normal breathing. We want our teddies or our persons to breathe 2 times every 10 seconds. Anything else?
It's not normal.
It's not normal. And if it's not normal, you're going to start CPR. This is where each and every one of you are going to be absolutely key. So this is where we need you to help us. We want you to kneel on the floor next to your teddy. And if they're on a desk, you can stand next to your teddy. We want to see, I'm going to flick back so I can see a couple more of you. And what I want to do, I want to see your arms nice and straight, hands on top of each other, like so. Okay. Kneeling next to your teddy, you're going to put the heel of your hand in the centre of your teddy's chest. And what we're going to do is we're going to push down as little lifesavers. We're going to push down as hard as we can. And we're going to push down 2 times a second. Oh, I can see some good CPR brilliant. Going on there.
That's it.
I'm just going to have a little look. You carry on, Adam, whilst you're doing that so they can see you. And I'm just going to have a little look through our stream and see who we can see. There's quite a few doing some good CPR here. That is fantastic. I'm going to go over to Zoom as well. I can see the whole Brownies group on Zoom doing it in a massive circle. That is fantastic.
Well done, everybody.
For those of you on YouTube, it's a bit more difficult to see you, but I've been told you're working really, really hard. So we've been doing exactly like Adam's doing. I'm just going to recap it for you one more time. Okay. So hands on top of each other, arms straight, kneel next to your teddy, heel of your hand in the centre of the chest. And we're going to push 2 times a second, literally at this speed. Because what happens, Adam, if we go too fast, what happens?
Like this?
Yeah, too fast is bad. The heart doesn't have time to fill with blood.
Okay.
And therefore it's not good enough. So we don't want you to go too fast. Too slow is also too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, too slow and we don't pump enough blood. So it needs to be 2 times a second.
What about if I push down here though?
Yeah, if you're down in the tummy, that's not good either, because you're not going to be pressing the heart. You need to be, imagine an imaginary line from armpit to armpit.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to press.
Okay, perfect. I got that.
Lovely. I'm going to let you all have a quick break because I'm going to tell you about the 3 occasions when you can stop. Okay, and there's only 3 occasions. Number 1 is when the person wakes up and purposefully pushes you off and away. Number 2 is when the emergency services are with you and ready to take over. And if you're doing a really good job, they might make you carry on for a bit longer whilst they all get set up. And then number 3 is when you're too physically tired to do any more.
Yeah, and this is hard work.
This is hard work, yeah. So as little lifesavers, it might have to do this in pairs or as teams in order to give people the best chance. Right. Well, so far we've practiced our CPR and we've seen the little lifesavers out there do it really well.
Really good job.
And now we're going to do the bit that I think is really cool. And when we spoke to some teachers yesterday, they thought we weren't going to be able to.
There we go.
You're back with us. So we spoke with your teachers the other day and they didn't think we'd be able to do this. And actually we've seen throughout the day, people can do this really well. We're going to show you how to deliver an electric shock with a defibrillator.
Cool.
Okay. So that is one of these gadgets. Okay. This is called an automatic external defibrillator. Okay. And these are available everywhere. We might even have these outside people's Girl Guide group meeting spots, which is really cool. Okay, there's some in shops, in parks, in telephone boxes, fire stations, and there's even a mission, Adam, in the Girl Guide pack, okay, that gets them to go look for these.
Oh, brilliant.
So they've definitely
Make
got
sure
their
you do
work
that.
cut out. Yeah, we're going to show you exactly how to deliver a shock with this. But before we do anything, we need to make sure it's safe because these deliver an electric shock to people to restart their heart. And it's really important everyone knows how to be clear. So what I want to see, you all practice, when we deliver a shock, we need to put our hands in the air and we need to shout clear, okay?
Clear.
I can see a couple of people doing it. We're going to do a quick practice. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and I want to see everyone go clear as loud as they can. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3, clear. Yeah, they're half ready. I don't think
a bit slow,
everyone's
bit slow.
quite ready. Okay, are we ready? We'll give it one more go.
One more go.
1, 2, 3, clear. Yep,
That's
they
better.
are ready.
Great job.
Well, now I think it's time to show them how to do a defibrillator. Okay. Should we just use one teddy for this? Adam's going to do the CPR. You can practice the CPR whilst Adam's doing it, but when we deliver a shock, I want you to all practice with us being clear, okay? So let's start your CPR now. I can see some of you going.
Off they go.
We're going to turn our machine on and we're just going to follow the instructions.
Call emergency medical services now.
So we've called for help already. We've called 999.
Follow the voice prompt calmly.
We're going to follow these instructions.
Remove all clothing from chest and stomach.
Say, Adam, that's not your clothing.
Oh.
That's the clothing on the patient, okay? Now, you've got 2 pads. They've got pictures on them and it shows you where to put them.
Tear open
The
pad
first one goes in the top left or top right of the chest, okay? The second one goes underneath their left armpit, okay, as so. Now, as soon as the pads are on, the machine will start to detect it and it will essentially start to analyse. We can hear our machine starting to analyse. So everyone stop. We need to have our hands up so that we're all nice and clear. Can I see everyone being clear? Because we can't deliver a shock, Adam, until everyone's clear.
Press the flashing orange
Yeah,
button.
everyone's clear on the
Clear.
screen.
Deliver shock.
Clear,
Now, shock.
delivering a shot. Right, little lifesavers, carry on with your CPR. We're going to practice this now. We've got lives to save.
Now.
Awesome work. I can see some great CPR here.
CPR voice prompt.
I'm going to press our metronome and it's going to show us how fast to go. It even gives us our timings. There is some great CPR going on here. Lovely, I'm going to turn this off.
System shutting
And what we're
down.
going to do is we're going to do a full recap from start to finish now. Let's get these pads off the bed. I guess that we'll just quickly show them before we put them away, exactly where we put these pads. So one underneath the armpit, here, underneath his left armpit, and one in the top right of his chest. Let's go across to Zoom and see who we can see on Zoom for a bit. Lovely. Are we ready for a full run through, team? So what we're going to do a run through together. I'm going to talk you all through it. If you get a bit confused, just copy Adam, because Adam's going to show you exactly what to do, okay? But we're going to run through it from start to finish, putting together our Dr. ABC. Is everyone ready? Give me a thumbs up and wave your bear in the air if you are ready. Yeah, they're definitely ready. All right then, so let's go for it. The first thing we do is we check for danger.
Danger.
Everyone have a look around for danger. And luckily,
No snakes.
no snakes, no dangers
no
today.
snakes.
The next thing we're going to do is check for a response. Remember your loud voices.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're going to give them a shake and a shout. I can see you all doing that. Remember the next bit. A, we're going to open the airway, tilt the head back, and we're going to check their breathing. We want them to take 2 breaths every 10 seconds.
They're not breathing.
They're not breathing. So if they're not breathing, we need to start CPR. Let's all start CPR, just like Adam's doing. So hands on top of each other, arms nice and straight, heel of your hand in the center of the chest. We're going to push 2 times a second. And then I'm going to use this defibrillator. Remember, you're all going to stand clear with me when we deliver this shock. So let's get this defibrillator ready.
Medical services now.
Right,
Adult mode.
I've got my pads out.
Follow the voice
I'm
prompt.
going to stick the first pad in the top right of the chest.
Remove all clothing from chest and stomach.
Second pad underneath the left armpit, exactly as so. The pads are on, so the machine will start to analyse now.
Do not touch.
Right, the machine says don't touch. Everyone hands up. Let's make sure we're all clear.
Shock advised.
Right, let's keep a really good eye out.
Stand clear.
Awesome, everyone's
Clear.
clear.
Button now. Shock.
We deliver the shot. Lovely. Back to your CPR team. Awesome work, Lifesavers.
Begin CPR now.
Absolutely
Press the flashing
fantastic.
blue I button.
So now I'm going to give you a metronome so you can keep in time. Awesome work. I can see some great Lifesavers
Yeah.
there.
Superb effort.
System shutting down.
Absolutely fantastic. Right, you can all stop and have a break because you have been working really, really hard. Now, I haven't mentioned this so far, Adam, but this is mission free of the Girl Guides KSS badge. essentially.
Okay.
So by everyone completing this today, they're completing mission free.
Oh, well done.
Which is really cool.
Superb.
We're going to show you the very last bit in our videos, and this is over to Duncan, who's one of our doctors, okay? He's going to tell you a little bit around the other exciting things that we're doing to try and save people's lives. But we can only do this with the actions of little lifesavers like you. At the end, we're going to do a quick questions and answers. So have a little think in your groups whilst you're watching the video, and if you've got any questions, type them in the chat and we'll answer them after this. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon and essentially training to become little lifesavers with us at KSS. Now, for our final session, we're joined by Duncan, one of our doctors here at the charity, and we're going to explore a little bit around what happens now that you're little lifesavers for us, what care we can do on the basis of you helping us. So Duncan, the first question, I guess, is the really simple one. It's we're asking as many people as possible to learn CPR, but some people would say trying to teach these little lifesavers that we've got in front of us, they're too young. Do you think that's the case?
Absolutely not. So the most important bit about helping people to survive after cardiac arrest is early CPR and early defibrillation, and anyone can do that. It doesn't matter whether you're 7 or you're 70. Everyone can play a part in saving a life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we saw this last year, didn't we? When we did the training, we saw thousands of children get involved. Now, in terms of what we're doing as a charity and building upon the work that they're going to hopefully do to help support us, we're in the early phases of exploring something called ECMO. Now, we all know this is quite a complex thing, but could you try and explain that for the children and what that would mean?
Yeah, so ECMO is a technology, is a machine that works to support or to replace the heart as a pump. And the machines now are small enough that we can take them on the helicopter with us. And so we're looking at and exploring, can we take that machine with our crew to the patients to try and really increase the number of people who survive from cardiac arrest?
And this could be absolutely transformational for us, couldn't it? We could save even more lives.
Yeah, so it's a really exciting technology. It comes with an awful lot of work for us to think about how we might make this work for the communities that we serve. But certainly there seems to be potential that we might be able to save even more lives with it. So yes, very, very exciting.
And the final things that the little lifesavers, they've been learning about the chain of survival, and we've talked about the third step on that, early defibrillation. And we're starting to explore the use of drones, aren't we? How are we doing that, and how does that link to the chain of survival?
So like we were talking about, the most important piece in helping people survive from cardiac arrest is early CPR and early defibrillation. And we know that most people who have their cardiac arrest have it in their own homes or in public places, and so they're often not close to a defibrillator. And what we're doing is we're looking at ways that we might be able to get a defibrillator to those patients, to the public, as quickly as we can, even more quickly than if we were to take it by the helicopter. One route that we might do that is through the use of drones. Again, it's complex in how you actually make that work, but we're looking at all the ways that we can do to try and get the defibrillators to the patients.
It's awesome. I think there's some really exciting work for people who have a cardiac arrest in the southeast, and with our work and our communities, where I think we will save even more lives. I think the last thing to say is just a thank you for joining us today. We're going to leave you with our next steps, and if you want to be involved with our charity and support us in the future, there'll be some links for you to follow. Lovely. Welcome back for the final time. Well, that sounded a bit ominous, actually. So we're going to just wrap up the last bit of the session with some questions, and we've had a couple throughout the day. We're a little bit pressed for time. We've got to start our next session soon. So if you have any extra questions, pop them in the chat, and we'll definitely answer them in our FAQs. I think the first question we can see is, how many people need our help a day? That's a really good question, isn't it?
Yeah. So currently we see about 9 or 10 patients a day.
Yeah. And that's about over 3,000 a year, isn't it?
Just over 3,000 a year now.
Yeah, so we're a very busy service, which is great that we get to go help so many people. The other really good question I've just seen come through is around, can you hurt somebody, Adam? That's a really good question. Is it, can you get it wrong?
Yeah.
And can you hurt someone by doing CPR?
Okay, so I think the honest answer is you can't get it wrong, because if you don't do anything, then it's not going to be good for the patient. There is a chance, and it does happen, I'm sure it's happened to you, it's happened to me on many occasions, that you feel like you've broken a rib, or you can break a rib, but actually the risk, of doing that and the benefit of doing the CPR outweighs that kind of risk. So just do it, just do the CPR, because that will save people's lives.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna wrap the session up here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And also for completing the KSS
well done.
Badge. It's really great to see people out there completing the missions. Our bears are going to say bye. We just want to see you wave your bears one last time, and we're going to leave you be. Thank you so much for becoming our army of little lifesavers. It's been great to be with you.